Hey everybody, welcome to the Infinite Regression. Throwing it here possibly for the last time this weekend. I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna go. So yeah, we're gonna see. Um yeah, let me do this real quick and then we'll get into it because there's things to talk about and mining to do and whatnot. Anyway, this is the theme. It is the only theme I ever sing, and this is the theme. The theme that comes and haunts my dreams, and when you hear this theme right now, you're going to fall in love with me. Cha. Oh man, waiting on that cha for a second, aren't we? Yeah, you know it. You know that cha was late. Anyway, so yeah, Islandcraft with me, Rem Pemberton of the Clemson Pembertons. Um, anyway, oh boy. So we are into the Thanksgiving holiday, which means that the semester is like so freaking close to being over. Like after this break, this semester just flies by. It's just two blinks of an eye and it's done, which is a little concerning. Hold up. A little concerning because, um, we've got a play to put on and, that's the only thing. The rest of the things is very much like, oh yeah, this semester can go by quick as it wants to. That's fine. I don't care. But when it comes to the the part where we've got a play to put on, oh, that's always like, oh, hold up. I don't know if we have enough time to do everything that we need to do, and especially because things be happening. So I've got uh you know there's a character that I wrote into the play at the last minute that I thought would be funny, and I thought it would give one of our younger, less experienced actors an opportunity, to get up there on stage without like pushing them too hard. You know what I'm saying? And so, oh my God, there's so much lapis, which should indicate diamonds somewhere around here. I'm gonna keep this going in this direction for a bit until I find them diamonds. And mine passed my wall limit. Um, anyway, but yeah. Here's the thing: is that we are like 8 practices away from performance. We're that close, and I need to start coming up with signage and tickets and things, and figuring out how all that's gonna go. Um. Anyway, so the huzzah. Uh. Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting thing. We'll say that. Um. But because I'm just thinking about things that I need to make sure that I take care of. I need to talk to my Princip Al, whom I have not spoken with since my ridiculous suspension that never should have happened in the first place. Um, so yeah, things there are a little weird, as one might expect. The other day he needed I was standing right next to one of my colleagues, and we were talking. We both have the same prep hour, and we're standing there talking, and there was an issue with, apparently word was out that there was a student who had drunk so much alcohol. As a matter of fact, it was supposed to have been four locos, which is an awful lot of alcohol. And Four Loko is the variety, is the, like, hurry up and get drunk variety of alcohol. It's not the, like, let's be gentlemen and sip this bourbon and curl our mustaches and talk about stock prices. It's not that kind of alcohol. It's the kind that makes you say woo. Um, it's woo alcohol. There's a difference. There's a difference between, gentlemanly sipping alcohol and woo alcohol. You know this. Anyway, so, yeah, apparently a student was like 4 massive helpings of woo alcohol in and was passed out somewhere on campus, and they needed to go find him. Well, I was standing right there. The principal walks up, and my colleague is standing right there, and he addresses my colleague as if I were not even there, and was like, "Come with me," and just like walks off in a hurry, and colleague just has no choice but to follow it. I'm just left standing there like, "Oh, I guess I'll hold down the fort right here, chief. I guess that'll be a thing." Like, it didn't even acknowledge me, so that was fun. That's like the only time that I have seen him since my suspension. So that's good. That's a solid foundation to build your future employment on. Anyway, so, I mean, I'm not worried about my future employment. It's just, my boss does a terrible job of making me feel valued and welcome in my position, although I know that they would have a freaking hard time replacing me. Like, a really, really hard time. Like, this is going to sound very insensitive, but I don't mean it to be. But, like, they couldn't just go to the freaking Philippines and find my replacement. You know what I'm saying? Which is not to speak ill of our Filipino teachers. I don't know all of them. We have many Filipino teachers coming in recently. One of who left after last year, like, was doing a fantastic job, and I'm really sad that he's not here anymore. So, there's nothing against them at all, but I'm just saying, like, normally they would go to the Midwest to get teachers, because apparently we don't home grow enough of them here. And so they would go to these teacher schools in the Midwest. And why would they go there? Because that's where everyone who is now in administration came from. And the good old boys club there is like, yeah, let's just keep grabbing people from where we've been grabbing people. Anyway, those ponds are drying up, apparently. And so they've been going out of country quite a bit to get teachers, which, is fine, obviously. But, like, you're going to have a hard time finding someone with my credentials and my expertise and experience. So, like, I'm relatively secure. Let's just say that. Because, like, there are other teachers who screw up an awful lot more than I do and are absolutely fine in their employment. So, like, we'll just say that, like, me getting in trouble for the dumbest thing ever, whatever. Like, it's just a sign that admin doesn't particularly care about me that much, but, like, they don't actively seek harm to me. I don't think. Not yet, anyway. If that ever changes, I'll let you know. Anyway, so, yeah, like, coming back off my suspension and haven't spoken to the principal and need to now because I gotta be able to set ticket prices and all of that business is a whole thing. Um, and so, we got to pass minutes for that. Yeah, it's all the business that goes with that. I'm just thinking about everything that we got to do in a relatively short amount of time to get this play off the ground. And the ridiculous thing is that, like, I have one actor, she's a senior. Like, I had her in a play once before. I put her in a part where she literally, like, had 2 lines. She just came on stage, said 2 things, and then left. And boy, I would tell you, like, honestly, she did a terrible job at that. Like, by far the weakest link of that play when she was, like, a freshman. Like, just really not not picking up the slack for her fellow actors at all. Like, really just hanging it out there that she was perfectly comfortable being the weak link in the play. Anyway, so what do I do? Like, that was for a play that I didn't write, and this one is for a play that I did write, and the part, she is a senior now. The part was intended to go to, like, because I've got a lot of freshmen, and there are multiple freshmen who would have fit the bill of, like, I really don't want a speaking part, so could I speak as little as possible? And so, like, yeah, it's, it is ridiculous, but, that's the part that she ended up getting because everyone else did better in their auditions. And so I was like, I can give you this part. Like, you probably won't screw this up. And then she stopped coming to school. Like, she just doesn't freaking come. She's a senior, and she's like, I don't need to come to school. I'm a senior. Seniors don't have to go to school, right? I don't know what her thought process is, but that seems to be about it. Anyway, so, yeah, she has only been on stage to perform her part, or to practice her part, one time in all the weeks that we've been doing this. One time has she been on stage for her role. Once. And now that we're getting close to the performance, I just took matters into my own hands, and I was like, no, I am not putting someone on stage in this play because of everything that I talk about, or I tell everybody, like, hey, nobody's bigger than the show, which is a line from the play, but I'm like, that's actually true. Like, this is a group performance. Like, we all rely on each other. We all expect each other to bring our best. And if any one of us is not bringing our best, it brings the rest of us down, even though we are bringing our best. So, like, everybody has to be doing it. Everybody has to buy in at the same level. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. That's the way it is with a group performance. Like, everybody has to buy in. No weak links, And so, yeah, she's a definite weak link. Like, obvious weak link. Cannot have her nonsense in the play at all. No room for it. And so I just told the cast, I'm like, she's not going to perform this role. Like, ain't no way. And they were like, yeah, that is exactly right. And I'm like, yeah, because I don't lie when I tell you things. Like, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Because if I'm going to tell all y'all that it really, really matters whether or not you are showing up every day for the rest of this cast, that you are doing what you have to do to be there for everybody else, like yeah, I'm not just gonna hold some people to that and not others. That would be ridiculous of me. Can't expect anyone to respect my authority as a director if the way that I approach it is like, well, some people get special treatment for literally no reason and other people have to work their butts off. Like that is no way to run a show, and I'm not going to run my show that way, so screw it. I don't care about this girl's feelings. Like, more than likely she has not told her family that she's in the play, so it's probably an easy letdown. And if her mom does come and complain, I've got proof to back it up. I just pull up her absences and be like, you see this one day that she's been here since, since we casted the play? Yeah, that's the one time that she has done her part on stage. So, yeah, that's why she's not in the play. Like, it's become a joke that your daughter doesn't freaking come to school. Like, people joke about it now. They just, they hear her name and they're like, aha, she never comes. So that's the level of commitment that your daughter is bringing. She can't be in the show. By the way, you are the parent. It should not be a surprise to you that your freaking kid does not come to school. Like, you should know whether or not your kid goes to school. It's your freaking kid, Anyway, so I decided there's a kid in the class who I've been using as an understudy, as an odd job understudy, meaning he just, anytime we need just a warm body to read from the script for certain roles, he will be that warm body, and anyway, yeah, there we go. So yeah, and he's been there every freaking day, never misses. And so I offered him the role, which is funny because he really, really, really did not want it. He has terrible stage fright. And all of his friends in the class were like, do it, just do it. And he's like, shut up. Not going to do it. And I told him, I'm like, look, no pressure. I'm just offering you this role in recognition of the fact that you are actually here all of the time and have helped out. If you want to be permanently behind the scenes, that's fine by me. I'll just write that part out of the play. But, it caused a lot of freaking drama. And if you've ever been in a drama class, the drama class is a good source for drama. You looking for drama? Drama class. There you go. Them kids gonna bring you a lot of drama. Anyway, so, yeah, I'm gonna have to write that part out of the play. But then there's another thing that we found out recently, which is that one of the first characters that you see on stage, as a matter of fact, the very first character to have a big monologue is, was played by this girl that the missus and I just think the world of. She's so great, so cute, so hardworking, so just a delightful kid. We just cared about her a lot. And the sad thing is, we knew that she was going through some really rough times at home. Like, she was in her grandmother's care to start out the year, because she didn't want to live at home with her mom because she sees her mom as toxic and bad, and like, I don't know what all goes on with mom. I know it's not great. That much is true. But like, uh yeah, anyway, the kid, poor kid, was the one who found grandma's body because grandma died. And so this poor kid not only like all of a sudden got thrust into a situation where like, haha, you thought that you had figured out reasonably stable living conditions for yourself, which is not something that kids should have to worry about. But unfortunately, too many kids at this school worry about stuff like that and have to worry about stuff like that, because if they aren't worrying about it, sometimes you just find the adults in their lives aren't even worried about it. And so if the kid doesn't worry, ain't nobody going to take care of it. And so, like, kids being forced to make grown-up decisions way too young is messed up, is really messed up. And, I'll tell you, all of the studies of student achievement will tell you the number one factor, you want to have kids who do well in school, number one thing you can do is secure good parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, good parents who are actually bought in on the health, security, safety, and happiness of a kid, who actually give a crap about that child's scholastic achievement, will do more to actually affect that kid's achievement in education in a positive way than teachers, than schools, than any other factor. Like, it matters less who your teachers are. It matters less where you go to school, public or private. Like, all of that matters less than, are your parents like actually invested. Now, granted, like, when you get into lower income school districts and whatnot, sometimes it's just hard for parents to be invested because they're working 2 minimum wage jobs at the same time and they're never home, and it's just hard, like, those are the kind of things that you see sometimes. And it's not because the parent's a bad parent. They're just, it's easier to have that time when you are more privileged economically. So that's fact. I mean, that's unfortunate fact about the world in which we live. Anyway, so I'm not, passing, classist judgments on people and being like, oh, if you're poor, you don't care about your children. I'm not a fairy tale, is what I'm saying. This fairy tales all the time be like, and they were poor, and so they said, these children are too expensive to keep feeding. Let's take them out into the woods and abandon them. And there are a lot of fairy tales that begin that way. I am not guilty of thinking that poor people do that as a matter of practice. But on the other hand, like, I do see the effects of some very negligent parenting, because one of the things that you do unfortunately get at a higher rate with an impoverished area are parents who didn't want to be parents in the first place, and that sucks. It sucks for the kid because, like, no kid wants to come into this world and be like, oh, I was a mistake and I was unwanted. Like, oh, great, awesome. So, like, all the negative social markers are much more likely to come my way than they are in the lives of children who know that their parents actually wanted them, you know? Like, sorry, world be harsh like that. Anyway, so yeah, like this poor kid who had already been through, like, finding the body of the guardian that she was most comfortable living with, and then running off to be with her boyfriend's family because, like, they actually really like her and care about her, but then CPS being like, nah, you gotta live with mom, that's your relative, like, that's where you gotta live. And then she'd be living with mom, and then all of a sudden she gets moved halfway across the state with no warning. And so kid is no longer in our school district. We didn't know it was happening. We didn't get to say goodbye. She just got moved. And we don't know who she's living with, and we don't know how secure, safe, or happy her situation is. And this is just a sweetheart of a kid that, like, if you met, you would be like, oh my God, I can't help but wish you all good things in life, because you are just like a sweet, nice kid who, like, deserves nice things in your life, you know. Anyway, it just it breaks your heart. Like, it really does. Every time I talk about it, it makes me sad because, like, number one, I'm sad that I have to recast that role in the play, and that I have to get someone in there who is like, coming in cold, and so, like, they're just gonna have to, learn the whole thing very quickly and be ready to go in a very short amount of time. And other members of the cast are like, oh, but the person that you put in there doesn't care about it as much as, the person that had the role before. And it's like, yeah, that's half the reason why that person got that role in the first place, is because they really, really care, and because I knew I could trust them because of how much they care about, doing well in their assigned role and doing what they can to make a good show. Like, very dedicated. Kid was always, you could always find him with script in hand, like working on memorization and working, like, always trying to get better. And now the part is gone to someone who, like, let's be honest, has a history of not really caring that much about what goes on in class. Is, seems to be taking it because it's an easy class, and that's the part they care about the most, you know? And if it's all the same to them, they'd rather not be involved, but now they have to be, because I got no other choice and they got no other choice, and that's the way it's going to go. And guess what? The person the role is going to is the little sister of someone who was an actor for me a couple years back, who was a very dedicated actor, who was very, very good. But don't think that this sister doesn't resent comparisons to older sibling, because, older sibling lived and died for drama class. Hold up, let me pause. Anyway, had to tell the missus what's up. I'm not using children's names, obviously, for so many reasons. Like, shouldn't be using children's names in the first place. you know. But anyway, regardless, you know, it's not ideal situations for so many reasons. And I mean, first and foremost, I care about the welfare of the kid. Like, that's that's the thing I care about the most, is like, the kid who got moved halfway across the state basically in the middle of the night. Like, is she okay? Like, is she happy? Is she secure? Does she feel safe? Does she feel like wanted and accepted in the place where she's living now? Because if the answer to that question is no, then like, I got a problem, Anyway, but the sad thing is, like, I ain't gonna get an answer to that question because no one can give it. Because I don't get to know what her living arrangements are, because she is a minor who is in the system, and I am not, aside from having been her teacher, I am not directly involved with her case. And so I don't get, intimate details of what's happening with her CPS case, which sometimes you're like, man, but I cared about this kid probably more than their own parent did, like, to all indications. That's a hard thing to say. Like, you don't want to assume that a parent, like, doesn't freaking care about their kid, but like, when that kid basically tells you, like, you care about me more than my parent does, like, yeah, it gets you. So, like, number one, I care about, like, is this kid okay? But number two, like, my God, she was so excited to be in this play, and I was so excited to have her in it, and to, give her an opportunity to show what she can do. But she's not going to get that opportunity, and that's really sad, because, like, I tell my students all the time, like, if you're not a theater person, you probably don't understand, but like, I tell people all the time, and it is factually accurate, like, it doesn't matter whether you're performing in front of a crowd that's like mostly parents of the performers. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter who you're performing for, but like, performing live in front of a crowd is it is, for most people, it is the most alive you will ever feel, you know which I know that sounds ridiculous. That's quite a claim to make, but it's true though. But it's true. Like, if it's actually true, then like, then it's not a ridiculous claim. It's a very reasonable claim to make. But yeah, like, if you are an actor and you got it in your blood, regardless of whether you are doing it as a professional or whether you are doing it, at a collegiate level or a high school level or a community level or whatever, doesn't matter. Like, the level does not matter. Are you doing a, Tony Award winning big budget performance, or are you doing some small little one act in a multi-purpose cafeteria / auditorium? Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you are performing live in front of a crowd, it is the most alive you will ever feel. And that's why people perform. And if you didn't get it before, like, now you get it. Like, it is like the same way that adrenaline junkies are like, oh my god, I got to be skydiving and I've got to be bungee jumping and I've got to be, wingsuit gliding and all that kind of stuff. Why do they do it? Well, because it's the most alive they feel. Getting that thrill is the most alive that they feel. And while it seems insane to those of us who don't do it, to those who do, it makes perfect sense. Like, oh my God, yes, this is the most alive that you feel. And so for that kid who was so great, and we just really thought the world of that kid, now they don't get that opportunity. They just got yanked away. And I know for a fact that they were very excited, very, very excited to give that performance and to do what they were prepared to do. They were working on it constantly, script out, memorizing lines, working on it, getting better all the time. And very much dedicated to the proposition that no one's bigger than the show. We all have to pitch in together so that we can put on the best possible show. Like the living embodiment of that principle. And now they don't get to do that performance at all. Auditioned for it, got the part that they actually wanted and really hoped to get, and then were prepared to actually play it. I was very happy because, when it comes to auditions, I'm not that guy who's like, oh, that's the part you wanted? Well, then you get it. You got to earn it. I don't give things away. People have to earn it. And that kid earned it, and kept earning it every single day. And the fact that they're not going to be able to do it, it's heartbreaking. And so yeah, giving that role to someone who doesn't care about it as much as the kid who originally had it, and it's not a knock on the kid who has it now to say that they don't care about it as much. They would agree with that idea. Yeah, they don't care about it as much as the kid who had it before. But I'm telling you, there's something lost there, and it makes me sad. And it's lost opportunity for the kid. It's lost, great performance for the audience. It's lost connection for other cast members who were, going to get that special bond that you get from, going into something like this with people that you've worked and sweated and worried for months about how do we get this thing polished up and ready to go. And, and then performance time comes and that person doesn't get to be there. They put literal, actual blood, sweat, and tears into the thing and never get to see the fruits of their labors. That's sad. That's really sad to me. Because, okay, I'll tell you this. So this kid who got moved out in the middle of the night, early on, oh, golden armor. Here we go. Let's see. We got nothing. Anyway, this kid, in the early days of the class, normally I have too many people signed up and not enough chairs to put them in. This time around, I had not enough people signed up, but I knew that some people were going to drop, and that's fine because some people find out oh, this isn't what I thought it was. I don't want to stick around in this. It's not going to be what I wanted, and so I probably shouldn't, probably shouldn't stick around in this. It's like, okay, that's fine. Like if it's not your bag, it's not your bag. Like I tell people that every single semester. Cause like I had a kid who like had a full on panic attack, like shaking and crying and blubbering and unable to like function, type of like full on panic attack, because she was gonna have to do a monologue. I mean, we do a lot of that kind of stuff because I teach acting. I teach kids how to act, and so monologues. That's the jumping off point. Like after that, I'm going to teach you how to mime, and I'm going to make you do mime in front of a whole bunch of people. All of whom are also going to have to mime, but some of whom are much more comfortable with it than you are, like, because they've done it before. Anyway, so yeah, if that's not your bag, it's not your bag. And so that one girl who like had the shaking, crying panic attack, she dropped the class. And I was like, good for you. Like, definitely dropped the class. And then I had her later in my honors class, and she was a delight. Just an utterly delightful student. So it's never anything personal when someone drops. It's like, yeah, some people have to drop for all kinds of reasons. It's okay. I get it. Not everybody's bag. But like for those for whom it is their bag, it can be a very, very special thing. And like, I have two posters on my wall, one of which says I support my LGBTQ students because like I do, and I put that up before we had a GSA because I was worried that we were never going to get a GSA. And so I just wanted to make it clear that like if you are on this campus, even if you're not my student, but like if you need an ally, if you need a teacher who is an ally who will listen to you and talk with you and like help you feel accepted and understood, like I will do what I can. Like I wanted people to know that, wanted to put that out there because it's important. Literally saving lives. Kids much more likely to attempt suicide when they don't have support and they don't have anyone that they can talk to. Like significantly more likely to attempt suicide under those conditions. And so like, I'm not, it's not that I'm wanting to toot my own horn and be like, I'm a lifesaver or whatnot. It's just, I'm in a position where I can provide a very simple service that makes an impact. And it's not because of who I am, it's because of the position that I'm in. I didn't invent the position that I'm in. It's just I'm trying to make full use of the opportunities that I have. Anyway, so that's number one. Number two, sign that I have, it says this is a dedicated safe space for freaks, geeks, nerds, oddballs, weirdos, eccentrics, wackadoos, all like a whole bunch of different terms like that. Is like and anyone else who needs a safe space to be who they really are. And that is what drama is all about. And so I talk about that at the beginning of the year, where it's like, this space may be terrifying to some of you, but for others of you, it will become the one place where you feel 100% accepted, and that is so very vitally important to me, as a part of what I do. And so I really preach it and I really try to live it and be like, no, like whoever you are, whatever your deal is, like, we will try to accommodate you within the big tent of like we are a safe space for people who need a safe space. Like, there we go. But I mean, that's what we try to be. Anyway, so within the first 2 days, and I worried, like I looked around that class early on in the semester and was like, dang, we got a lot of young kids in here. We got a lot of kids who don't have very much in the way of experience. And I was concerned. I was concerned about how many of them would stay. Based on the things that we start doing pretty early on in the class, you know, because I do make them mime, because it is so very foundational to, you know, acting with the body. We do, you know, acting with the body, and then we do acting with the voice, and then we put it together, and then we audition for a play. Like, is we have to get through all of those things. And so it's very, like, it does not go, we're not doing, like, lengthy scene studies and whatnot. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we just don't get to do because we do have to put on a play every single semester, and it's just hard to do that when yeah, it's just hard to put on a play when there we go. You know, when you've got turnover, and when you've got new students and new students and old students in the same class, and everybody trying to get the same, like, foothold and understanding and, like, level of preparation for, you know, auditioning for and getting parts in the play. That's, you know, that's why we do the way that we do. I go all the way back to rudimentary basics, and so even the more advanced students get, like, a constant refresher in, like, okay, but what is your body doing, and how conscious are you of the way that it looks to the audience, which is a very important thing to be thinking about. And one of the best ways to teach that is with mime, and people either really enjoy mime or they freaking hate it. And the really enjoy it people are few and far between. Even among, like, the more seasoned actors, you find that people don't enjoy mime that much. Because, you know, nobody really, very few people go into acting and are like, I want to become a mime. You know, it's not an aspiration for most people. Although it is a very valid art form, and very, when you see someone do it, when they are very skilled at it, it's magical. Like, it legitimately is magical. Anyway, so, yeah, we were just a couple days in to the semester and just starting our stuff, our mime stuff, and this kid who, like, you know, is very shy and quiet, and that's the other beauty of drama, is that oftentimes the shy and quiet kids who have a hard time in social situations, which is exactly me, that's how I am. I know that I come off as like, he's very confident. He's a very confident person. And it's like, yeah, I'm confident when I'm in performance mode. Like, when I can trick my brain into saying, like, this is a performance, now go perform. You know, like, that is when I can exude confidence, but it's the only time that I can exude confidence with people, you know, is if I can trick myself into being in performance mode. Because other than that, like, I can't do it. Like, I just can't. Anyway, And I tell my students all the time, it's always a bit of a mind blown thing where they're like, "What? You're shy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm very shy, believe it or not. Like, very shy. Like, come and talk to me one on one, and you will see me like shrink within myself, not make eye contact, and generally act like I don't know what to do, even though I'm an adult." Even though, like, I definitely should be the one who is like, no, I am very confident in this situation. But, like, when students come in to talk with me one-on-one, like, you know, if I'm on my prep hour and they come in to, like, ask me a question or something, it's a terrifying encounter. One-on-one encounters are terrifying to me. But, you know, being on stage in front of who knows how many strangers, that's where I'm comfortable, you know, and that's one of the things that you find about yourself in the theater. Anyways, so this kid who's been in drama class for all of like 2 days comes up to me and is like, I think I'm comfortable here. Like, I think this is a place for me. And I was like, good. You're totally welcome. Like, you're 100% welcome. Welcome to a place that will always accept you, you know? And then over time, like, because kid also got involved in the GSA because of their identity, and also got involved in, like, very involved in strategy gaming, and, like, lived for our D&D campaign, which that's another thing that kid's never going to get to actually experience. Like, the end of that campaign is going to be nutso bananas. I already have it planned out. Like, I already know what it's going to be, and it's going to be crazy. And people are going to be like, it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a great time with the end of my D&D campaign. And then my colleague has a D&D campaign that I'm really excited for, which, like, he's already told me too much about, but, like, I can actually role play it and actually do role play it. So, and can separate out the difference between what I as a person know and what my character knows, which is the hardest thing to juggle when you're first getting started in role-playing games. Anyway, so, like, he told me kind of what his campaign is, where, like, you know, it only, like, the campaign starts anytime our characters are asleep. So we can actually run multiple campaigns at the same time. And then anytime the characters are sleeping in the other campaign, they are awake and roaming this mad realm in the other campaign. And it's because, and this is freaking brilliant, we're stuck in a bag of holding owned by a madman. You know, like, that's such a great freaking idea for a campaign. And so, like, everything that we're experiencing, we only think we're experiencing, but we're actually not, because of where we are and because of what's actually happening. And we're going to have to unravel the truth of what's actually happening over the course of the campaign, which is, like, that's such a great idea. Like, I can't wait to play it. It's going to be super awesome. But yeah, she's not going to get to do that one, or I mean, the student. I was trying not to even give away gender. But yeah, that student is not going to get to experience that either. And so, like, it's so sad to us, because, like, we don't know how the kid is. Like, we don't know how well they're being taken care of. And, like, all of these experiences that the kid was looking forward to are not going to happen. And we don't know if that kid is going to be able to get involved in the same way in their other place. So, like, yeah, it's very sad. And I every time I think about it, there's just another new wrinkle that makes us very sad about it. Like, I keep saying sad, but like it just is. I mean, yeah. Anyway, so these are things that I'm thinking about as I'm going into Thanksgiving weekend, and like, we got family. We're going to see, both sides of family. There's going to be family that come home with us. Like, we're going to travel a little bit, but then we're going to bring people home with us. And that's going to be a whole thing. And then also, I've got a butt ton of work that I've got to get done. It's going to be a crazy time. And I would love to just, sit on my channel and review games and just have all the fun that I want to have. Like, I wrote a weekend type fun yesterday. I wrote an episode and started recording it. But I'm not going to release it because of how it was going. Like, I'll give you a hint. Is that, so I was pretending that one of Rem Pemberton's ancestors, who was one of the original pilgrims, had a journal that was recently discovered and had a record of the very first Thanksgiving, but from the point of view of these early pilgrims. And like, so what it does is it actually gives a view of like, oh, no, like, it wasn't just non-tribal friendly Indians who were like, hey everybody, how's it going? This is called maize and we will be bestest of friends. It wasn't that, like, as it's always portrayed in elementary and middle school classrooms, like, is this very complicated, often very dark history with the Wampanoag tribe. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't know, and that's the sad thing, is that I don't know. They were the they were the ones. They were the Native Americans with whom the Pilgrims shared the first Thanksgiving. But it wasn't just a friendly, like, hey guys, let's all get together. It was like, we need your help defending ourselves because we have been decimated by disease that you guys brought when you came here. Little guns, germs, and steel business. The germs part especially played out exactly the way that Jared Diamond lays it out in his Pulitzer Prize winning book, And anyway, so as a bit of comedy, I just laid out just a terrible journal entry, lengthy journal entry from the point of view of one of these pilgrims who is like, blind to the suffering of the natives, and is all like, oh, and God blessed us, the white man, so much, And meanwhile, it's just, the wholesale rape and pillage of the natives, which is, pretty accurate as to what it was. But like, I started doing it as comedy, and I'm like, it made me sad, number one, but it also, I was worried. I was like, is this playing right? Because like, when you tell a joke, see, here's the thing. You can joke about anything. You can joke about anything as long as you're doing it right. Like, so when you tell a joke about the oppression of Native Americans, the oppression of Native Americans can't be the jokey joke part of it. Like what you have to be poking fun at is like the best comedy speaks truth to power. And so you have to be like actively tearing down the power structures that uphold that gave way to the abuse of natives in the first place. Like it can't come off that you're taking the side of the oppressor, which is why like there are videos on the internet is like why right-wing humor isn't funny, and it's like well the main reason is that like very often they're taking the side of like job creators, like they're taking the side of these massive multinational corporations, for instance, that are like destroying our planet and raiding people's pension funds so that they can tick their own stock up an extra half a point. You know what I'm saying? Like it's this absolutely like cruel, heartless system. And a lot of right-wing humor is like, I uphold that system, and that's why it's not funny. But like speaking truth to power is both funny and it's an effective mechanism for getting people to think very reflectively and very poignantly on social change. That's not a part of comedy that people often talk about. And it's like, yeah, this makes me think poignantly about social change. I mean, granted, if you talk to like the Jimmy Carrs of the world, they'll tell you like, no, you can joke about anything as long as the joke is good. Like the whole truth to power part doesn't matter. Just, what they would say is don't write jokes where the brunt of the joke is, some sort of oppressed class. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't make the oppressed class the brunt of the joke. I mean, it should go without saying, but, some people. Anyway, so, oh, good. For a minute, I thought it was gold because it was shining a bit. Yeah, because I hadn't found copper on this run yet. Anyway, but yeah, you can joke about anything as long as you are not making the brunt of the joke someone who is already the brunt of oppression, and so like regardless of whether or not you're speaking truth to power, like you can have jokes about very difficult subject matter as long as it's funny, number one, and number two, it doesn't continue the oppression, does not uphold the oppressive system with which the oppressed class is being oppressed, And so, like, I just started feeling halfway through, I was like, I'm not in a mindset where I feel like I'm being careful enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't feel like I had the right headspace to know that I was being that I was walking that tightrope line, And so I cut it. Like I just said no, I'm not. I just gave up halfway through the recording of an episode and said no, I'm not going to release this. I'm going to re-record it later. And the sad thing is it's Thanksgiving episode. And I'm not going to have time to record it before Thanksgiving. It's probably going to get recorded after Thanksgiving, possibly the week after Thanksgiving. So, yeah, it might not be timely, but at least it'll be, properly sensitive to the plight of oppressed peoples, which is, important. It's important to me anyway. Yeah. So these are things. These are the fun things that I get to think about as I'm doing my thing. By the way, that weekend type fun episode has 100 slides. Exactly 100 slides. It's absurdly long. But there is some really funny stuff in there. It's just I can't present it unless I know that it's not going to come off as me upholding the oppressor class. I don't want that to come across at all. And so, like, I got to be very careful, and I got to, make sure that when I actually do it, and we'll see, like, there might be a chance I can record it this weekend. We'll see. But if there is that chance, I have to be very careful that I am taking it the right way. So, anyway, keep your eyes peeled for that whenever that comes out. It'll be volume 27. So, if you have ever axolotl, huh? Like, I wonder. Hold up. Yeah, there's obviously, like, there's something. There's like a cave system or something nearby, but I'm not breaking through to it yet. So I keep seeing things about witches and skeletons and whatnot, and that just said axolotl. Anyway, ladies and gents, I gotta save and quit this game. I've got other things I gotta take care of today. So back to the infinite regression. Yeah, I've got other things, like I gotta clean house. I gotta go pick up a car in the next town over, and then we gotta drive all the way to my sister's tonight. So, yeah, I've got miles to go before I sleep. So, can't be dilly-dallying in the Minecraft all day. But I did want to record something because, I don't know if I'm going to get to for the rest of this weekend. So it's important to me that I upkeep this, little creative venture that is, like, it's a vital and necessary creative outlet for me. Like, it's something that I can pour my talents, my interests into, and, like, whether or not anybody else is enjoying it, I enjoy it. That's who this is for. Ultimately, is for myself, for my own sanity, for my own well-being. If you see it, if you enjoy it, good for you. Like, legitimately good for you. Like, welcome aboard and thank you. But if you don't, if you see this and you only watched it for the first 10 minutes and you're like, meh, not for me, okay, that's fine. I get it. I didn't make it for you, so it's okay. Anyway, people, that's it for this one. I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.